Hello everybody. So this is today's effect, and you can see this is a death effect. The rocks are coming from the ground and this girl just dying, but the rocks and the blood is spreading on the ground and some splashes, and she just die. Then some particles emit from her body. So this is today's effect. Isn't it nice? So let's just check it out how I created this effect. So I have this animated character here. You can see I have placed the particles here. First is ice, that the whole effect, and the second is body particles, some sparks you can see when she dies emitting from her body. These are the sparks in this. If I just open first this one, so this is just simple sparks that has light also, and I have linked these sparks to the spine of the girl and timing set here. So when she die, the sparks emits. So the spark is the very basic particles. You can see just a very simple texture material. Now come to the main effect, this ice rocks effect that I have created, the whole bunch and some blurs coming out of the body. So if I check one by one my first mesh, and you can see there is a circle of small ice rock icicles. They appear and they erodes, and they have some blood patch on it. Okay, they randomly emit on a circular. So there you can see there is no a slender emitter in this or anything that can give the round shape to the particles emission. So how I created this? So first of all, I want to show you my Maya file. You can see these are the rocks, but these are not in a circular shape. So I created these rocks, and all the pivot of these rocks are set to the center of grid. So if you have this one first rock that I am showing you in here, and this is in a circular shape, all you have to do is just rotate it, because the center pivot it will rotate. And if you just copy it, like if I rotate it and shift D, so you can see they emitting and or they spawning in a circular shape. So this was the concept I used in Unreal Engine. Here I spawned multiple icicles like 15 and give it to the random rotation on Z axis. So they are emitting on Z rotation. Okay, and they are spawning by scale over life. Okay, at Z you can see on the starting is 0, and at 0.002 it's 1. So just pop out in a microsecond. And how they are eroding? There is this material here. This is the ice material, you can see, and I have created a normal for this, and this is the basically attached to the base color and all. Now the red patch, you can see I have used this mask for blood splatter, and you can see here I have multiplied to the with the red color, so it's red and it's slightly moving downwards. So I just added a panel here. You can see there's a panel connected to the texture, so this is coming down, then it erodes. How did it erodes? See, I have this opacity mask because my material is mask, so opacity mask. In opacity mask I used this noise texture that is panning downward, and I use this dynamic parameter here to power my values. So here I connected this add node to the dynamic parameter. You can name it anything. I named it erode, and here is my value. So this dynamic parameter I am handling in my particle. You can see here, if I refresh it and just check it, there is erode parameter and I am animating it here. So points at 0.6 they are not eroding, from 0.6 to 1 they are eroding. Okay, and you can see the mesh. This is the small one mesh that I showed you in Maya, the last one, this one. Okay, so this was the process of the emitting and disappearing of my icicle and how I spread it in a circular way. So these are all my icicles and I did exactly same process what I have told you in this one. So if I check another one, you can see their second row, the second one, these are, then the third one, these are. So if I open one by one, like these emitting, then other one, then more, same process, exactly same. You can see these all dynamic parameters, rotation, scalar, everything is instance. See, very easy. You can easily create this. You just have to create one and you just have to duplicate and just change the mesh here. You can see I have changed the mesh. Okay, mesh rock 1, rock 2, rock 3, rock 4 here. And one more thing what I did, they are coming one by one, they are not coming together like one by one. So if you see the first icicle, there is delay 0 and in second there is delay 0.02 and in 3 there is more, and by 0.2 I multiplied the delay one by one. So you can see, so they are coming one by one, not together because of delay. So these two parameters are different in all these icicles emitters. First is different mesh in each emitter, second is the delay amount 0.02 more from the previous icicle. See, here is 0.14 delay, then 9, 10, 11, 12. These are 12 icicles and the last icicles has 0.22 delay. Okay, so icicles are emitting and eroding. Then I have placed some light particles. You can see some lights there going through these icicles. You can see the bright part. Okay, so these are the light particles, just random particle. Use the circular shape radial ramp, edge material, then some light and emitting from cylinder. So now I use some debris. You can see these debris just because of velocity here, high velocity on z axis, they are going up, and I use this mesh, only single mesh for debris, and same texture material that I use for icicles, but I just duplicated the material and remove the blur pattern from this, otherwise this is the same material. Use dynamic parameter and for eroding the debris, same, and these are emitting from cylinder shape, and acceleration for gravity, they go up, then a bit they stop or they start just falling and they disappear. Then I added some mist here. For mist, first of all I use the cylindrical shape. I use cylindrical shapes in almost every emitter because my effect is round, so I use cylinder shape, then the velocity and random velocity, then some acceleration for gravity, some drag to stop it, and the texture I used sub UV. You can see the sub UV index here. I use this sub UV, very common sub UV. I created some random pattern from a cloud filter in Photoshop. So you can see here I have used it as random because they are not sequence or simulation anything. So this is my mist, they're fading out because I have used here alpha. Then some frost on ground, you can see here. If I just isolate it, these are frost emitting again from a cylinder. You can see this cylinder, the green one, and I have locked axis because I wanted the frost spreading on the ground. If I just turn off it, you can see these are billboard, they are not flat on ground, they are just facing the camera. So I just use locked axis, locked on Z, and they are facing, they are vertically facing the ground. So for this frost effect, I didn't use mesh, these are billboard. Okay, so the material is here. I use the same texture for ice that I use for icicles, same normal map. Then I use this round pattern for frost, and I used it in opacity so they can give me the random shape. And now I use power to erode it, because when you power anything black and white, it starts eroding. So I just use this dynamic parameter again, named it erode, and just use it here, erode. So it starts eroding from 0.5. Then some shooting particles, some long sparks to just for impact, the very simple spark material, and again a cylindrical shape of emitter. It has also attached light, you can see these lights, and very powerful glow, blue color, and they are aligned on velocity, so I can stretch on y axis, they are stretching. Now some particles, they are just burst and twinkle a bit and fall down, and for this sparkles use this texture, simple one, and they are all obviously emitting from a cylinder. Use orbit for random movement, and you can see these are twinkling. So how it's twinkling? For twinkling I use the scale by life this way, they are going down, up, down, up, down, up. So it's twinkling because of random life, they are not together scaling down, they are randomly scaling down, so it feels like twinkling. Use drag a bit for just to stop them, and you also use the light in it. So more sparkles, just different color, purple, and spawn rate is low than previous, just 20. Then erode particles, you can see these particles just coming from center and then spreading, because you can see this cylinder is just scaling. For this scaling I used keys in the cylinder radius here, start radius, it's animating. So these eroding particles I use for my icicles. If I just isolate my icicles very quickly, not all, just these guys. So if I just play, and when my icicles erode, these particles come, so it feels like these icicles converting into particles. So now this distortion, you can't see distortion on flat background, so I'll just show you here. I have just isolated it and just play. You can see this one, the distortion, again you can see this one. So it gives you very powerful impact in your effect. So for this distortion I use normal map, that is panning. You can see here distortion, and attached to normal opacity is 0 and refraction is 0. So you can obviously you can see here. Next is starts blood. So first you can see this blood is coming. Okay guys, so if you want to learn how to create from the scratch a blood, so I have a tutorial on my video. Check out my videos. There is a blood tutorial. I have created this same blood from the scratch. You will learn how to create a texture in Photoshop, how to paint texture, and how exactly use that texture in Unreal Engine, and this erosion, and I will create normal map of this texture. So you can just find out blood tutorial in Unreal Engine CG how. That is my channel, so you can just search in my videos or just search in YouTube. You will definitely find my tutorial. So I will quickly tell you again what I have done for this. So this is the material, this is the texture I have painted in Photoshop. So if you don't know how to paint textures, you can definitely go to my tutorial. Then I have the normal map. Again, you will learn how to create normal maps of your texture in Photoshop in my blood tutorial. So if you want to learn from scratch, just go to that video. So this is texture that is connected to the opacity and all this roughness. There is specular and metallic. For erosion, what I did, I just multiplied this black and white and gray texture and use the B value in dynamic parameters. So when I decrease it, it will start erode. So I use this in here, dynamic parameter erode. So I am using it here and it's, you can see, eroding. If I just slow down, you can see this is eroding. See how accurate is eroding. Nice. So go to my tutorial and you can just learn. So you can see. Then I have another blood, the same one, just some value of velocity is decreased. Then some blood mist. For blood mist, I use the same texture that I used for ice mist, and just the color is red and they just bursting and just disappearing. Then blood again. These are different blood and the material is this one. I used this one splatter that you have seen in my icicles text material, and you can see this is animating because I used this noise texture that is panning, and I used this texture to animate the UVs of this splatter, and the amount of the distortion of this texture is connected to the dynamic parameter. Here you can see I have named it distort, so I will control it in my particles, and the texture I have used black and white. So when I power it, it starts erode. So I use power that connecting to the opacity mask, and exponent of the power is again connected to the dynamic parameter, and I named it erode. So you can see here I am using the dynamic parameter which has erode and distortion. Okay, and these are falling down because of gravity here, minus. Then the same texture material, and they are just emitting on ground, spreading on ground because I have locked axis like the frost, and you can see they spread, then they start going to center. How they going to center? Because they are scaling down here, and you can see these are eroding, these are distorting because of dynamic parameter here, eroding and distorting. then blood again. I use the same blood, the first one, just for, this is not burst, this is spurting blood, this is just emitting for a while. Then again a blood, the same texture, same material, just the small material is not different, just the particle properties is different. This is initial size is less and they are just going down. So let's check in Viewport how this looks one by one. So I'll just zoom, just play. This is my whole effect, just close up and one by one. This is my first icicle, you can see the round shape of little small icicles. Then number 2 with a delay of 0.02, some icicles a bit of ahead of the smallest one. Then third one, they are little big. Fourth one, some bigger. Fifth, more bigger and closer to the girl. Then sixth, closer and bigger. Seventh, eighth, ninth, closer and almost killed her. So I have left 2, 3. So these are all the icicles. You can increase or decrease the amount of icicles. I think it's much. I can use less. I just realized that now. I could use less icicles. These are much icicles. So now I'm using this light. Okay. Then some debris, some random mesh that is going up, the same texture material that I use for icicle. Then some mist, you can see here a mist. Then some frost. For ground, the texture that locked on z-axis and then start eroding. Then some shooting particles, the spark particle that was very fast from the center, you can see there you go. Then some sparkles, there is a sparkle puff here, you can see they are twinkling and coming down, falling down. Then some more sparkles with purple color, you can see one here and falling down, you can see here. Then erode particle, when my icicles erodes, there is some particles comes. Then some distortion for impact here. For distortion you can use a normal map that can pan. You can use panner and attach to a normal map. You can use zero opacity and refraction for this effect. Now blood, you can see a blood coming from the girl here. Then again a blood, more blood, you can see. Then blood mist, there will be a puff of blood here. Then blood splatters, you can see long and thin drops of blood that just burst from the girl. There's then more blood, same texture, same material that I use for splatter, so it's just coming on ground because I have locked the axis and these billboards scaling down, so it feels like they are going in center, and with the help of dynamic parameter material, these are, you can see, moving and eroding. Then blood 5, more blood here, and last blood, more blood. So this was my overall effect. I hope you liked it, you learned something, and you can just experiment with this effect. You can add more things, you can add or you can decrease properties, and you can decrease elements here. You can add some element that you like, or maybe you like something in this or you didn't like something in this, so you can just change whatever you want. So thank you for watching my tutorial. Share, support and subscribe, like and comment below. If you have any query, question or any suggestion, let me know. And thank you, keep learning, bye.